Hello everyone, very good evening. Welcome back to Pantechelearning channel. This is R. Divyanjali from Pantech. Pantech is a platform where a person can experience, innovate, and implement different research and development works over this platform. Firstly, I would like to welcome all the participants to the pleasant evening session. Welcome, dear participants. So, today we are on the 28th day of our full stack web development using React.js library file, right? So, on this 28th day, we are going to discuss about an application under the title e-store book management system. So, this application is all about e-commerce website to buy any books or any papers on through online. Okay, so before entering or learning in detail about this application, let us first rewind what we have learned in the last 27 days. But before that, dear participants, I hope so my voice is audible clearly and also the screen also clearly visible, right? So please let me know that in the comment section whether am I audible clearly and is the screen is clearly visible or not, like that. Okay, fine. So in the last 27 days, we discussed from the basics, right? Where on day one, we started learning about the introduction to web development along with various industrial applications. On day two, we discussed about introduction to React.js library file. On day three, we discussed about what are all the softwares we are going to work with. Day four, we discussed about how to create our simple React application. Day 5, we discussed about what are all the various folder structures present and also how to implement this simple Hello World application. Day 6, we discussed about components and its classification, which includes class component, functional component. Day 7, we discussed about hooks and JSX concept. Day 8, we discussed about properties and states concept. Day 9, we discussed about event handling, methods, list concept. Day 10, we discussed about CSS styling elements. Day 11, we discussed about forms handling. Day 12, we discussed about login page creation as well as registration page creation. Next, day 13, we discussed about React DOM element as well as API key. Next, on day 14, we discussed about API sample project demo. Day 15, we discussed about API sample project demo. Day 16, we discussed about front end application. Day 17, we discussed about server side explanation. Day 18, we discussed about introduction to PHP language. Day 19, we discussed about Laravel framework. Day 20, we discussed about Laravel installation as well as connection to XAMPP, right? Sorry, how to create a new project in Laravel framework. Okay. Next, on day 21, we discussed about XAMPP installation. Day 22, we discussed about XAMPP installation with database management system and its connection. Okay. So from day 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 to day 28, all these are going to be the applications only. Today we'll be discussing about the application under the title eStore Book Management System. So let us first understand what is the basic abstract or what is the basic problem statement we are having to implement or to propose this application or to implement or to work on this application. Fine. Here comes the very basic abstract, which includes the internet by far plays a major role in people's life. It has drastically improved the quality of life and the standard of living of so many people as well. It has widened its branches into many different levels and areas. The e-commerce industry is one such branch which has come into spotlight in the recent years. So it is all about the basic e-commerce websites where we do online shopping. It may be regarding clothes or it may be regarding products, anything you can buy. Okay. So in our application, we are going to implement for something like books. Okay. So it's a e-store, electronic store books, okay, where we can find various kinds of books which we can order or which we can buy. Okay. So why we have to implement this web application? Can anyone tell me in the comment section? It is very simple. For suppose if you go to a bookstall and if you wanted to get some author's books, okay, maybe that bookstall might not contain that author book, right? Else it might be over, books might be over regarding that particular author books, right? Stories like that, correct? For suppose if you take it in online, all the variety of books will be there and you can get the order within with very little span of time, right? May not be immediately as you buy in offline, but for sure you are going to get. In offline means again you have to come to the bookstall, again you have to check for the books, again you have to buy, else you have to change your decision. All these are the various considerations considering we are going to develop this web application where in our internet through our e-commerce website we can select whatever the book we want and then purchase it. Understanding, right? Fine. Let us move on to the next slide. Here comes the basic introduction. The online bookstore system has eased the life of so many book lovers by making it easy for them to purchase books in online. It is not always feasible to access a traditional bookstore. It is limited by its operation time, availability of particular book, and its location, and most importantly, its capacity and the space required to store numerous books as well. So it consumes a lot of space as well to store our books, right? So such drawbacks have led into the evolution of e-commerce industries related to bookstores. So our application is one such simple e-commerce website which houses various books of different categories for a consumer, for the users to purchase in online. So you have understood by the introduction itself clearly what is the existing system as well as what is going to be there in the proposed system. Correct? Fine. Let us move on to the next slide. Here comes the existing system. So early days, libraries are managed manually by people, right? By a group of people or by a group of staff, faculty, or something like persons, right? Humans. It required a lot of time to record or retrieve the details of each and every book, whether that particular book is available or not, like that. The employees who have to record the details must perform their job very carefully as well. Who is taking the book? Who is again returning them on time, like that. So even a small mistake would create lot of problems. Security of information is very less and report generations of all the information is very tough task. So maintenance of library catalog and arrangement of the books to the catalog is very complex task as well. So in addition to its maintenance of member details, issue dates and return dates, manually it is a complex task. All the operations must be performed in a perfect manner for the maintenance of the library without any degradation, which may finally result in the failure of the entire system. Right? So, only in the proposed system, we are going to implement our React application, web application. So, here are few disadvantages which includes for our existing model of something like e-store or not e-store, like something like any bookstall. Okay, so not convenient to read over that place completely. We can't spend the same complete time over there. Printing cost takes much, right? To print a complete book only, we take lot of cost, right? If you consider some number of books, then the cost increases, right? And piracy is not present over there. Whereas in our proposed system, to solve the inconveniences as mentioned in the existing system, an online library is proposed. Okay, so the proposed system contains the following features. The students will register them through online individually. Each member have their own account through which he or she can access the information whatever they need. Okay, now the book details like authors, number of copies, totally maintained by the library. Present available number of books, reference books, non-reference books, that and all information is made manually. Okay, now regarding the members designation, number of books was issued, issue dates and returns of each member is maintained separately, and fine charged if they are giving any delay, books giving in delay, okay, in returning the book. Administrator can add update the books, time consuming is low, and gives accurate results, reliability can be improved with the help of security. So this is all about the proposed system. In simple, we can tell like we are going to implement a web application where we are going to propose e-commerce web library, okay, book library, and which is also helpful for us to get the details of receiving date or returning date on time, okay, without any interruptions. If any interruptions was there or if there is any delay as well, we are going to get the charges as well, fine charges. Especially in colleges, you might have been seen in library, right? If we take some books with 3 cards, as I guess, so we have to return within 15 days and take again renewal if you want again the same textbooks like that, okay? If not, the fine for each and every day it will be increased, correct? Fine. So this is about the proposed system where the advantages includes low update cost, multimedia format, searchable, which is easy to search various forms of or various varieties of books. Okay, so these are all the advantages. Here comes the systematic diagram or architecture diagram. First, we start taking or selecting the books. See the books, upload the books, order the books, and add into the cart and buy it. Okay, it's like first of all in our web page, we will get the list of all the books available. Next, from that list, category of the books also might be there. Okay, select that category, select the particular book, add into the cart favorites. Now pay for that particular books and take that books, order for that books. Okay, so this is what our systematic diagram or architectural diagram representing. I hope you are understanding. Here comes the software requirements. So to develop our application, what are all the various software requirements we are going to want? Okay, we are going to have first one, Windows of operating system. Next, we are going to use here Visual Studio, that is by default. Okay, fine. Yeah, here comes the hardware requirements. Main processor of greater than 2 gigahertz, RAM should be 1 gigabyte. Next is hard disk of 80 GB. Okay, so yeah, before entering into our code, here is a small announcement regarding the benefits of web development internship. Participants still having a lot of queries regarding to how to enroll for your internship. Dear participants, if you are interested to develop your career in React.js, okay, web development using React.js, you can just enroll for the internship, which is helpful for you to get the recording videos, presentations, as well as 8 plus application codes, everything, okay. And also the certificate of internship will be given by associating with APSSDC, okay, Andhra Pradesh State Skill Development Center. Okay, so you will be getting the internship confirmation letter as well as you will be getting the internship completion letter. So you can convert this sample free masterclass into your internship, which adds a lot of credit to your resume. I've been telling you this word or this sentence for all the sessions I've been instructing you. Okay, internship adds a lot of credits to your resume. It weights up your resume. Okay, so you also have a small announcement regarding the upcoming Pantech events. We are having associative events with IEEE, IET internships. Okay, so that events are on the particular titles which you can see over the screen like PCB designs, artificial intelligence, and also we are going to start masterclass which includes EV, electric vehicle, and Python programming. Okay, so these are all the upcoming events. Now, first let us execute the code, then understand how to develop that code. Okay, just go to start all programs. Yeah, so this is your file actually. Just go to this path, type here CMD, click on enter so that the command prompt is entered over here. Now type here npm space start. Just click on enter. It's going to execute your code now. Let us just wait until the execution is done. I hope everyone is understanding, right? 1 minute. Fine. So here you can even search for a book. Okay. Now you can see here the various categories of books like mystery, fitness, sci-fi, business, different types of books we can give. This is our home page. This is my login details. If I wanted to log out, you can just click on that logout. Here are the varieties of books. What type of information we have for a particular book if you wanted to select. Book name, image, and author, cost, whether we wanted to add into our cart or remove. Okay. So we have given here few list of books. Okay. So you can just add into your cart in this format. Now that you can check the total cost of the book and then check out. Okay. So this is what the sample application output looks like. Okay. Now we open the same folder in our VS Code. Go to start or programming, type here VS Code. Just open the folder first of all. Yeah. So here also by default we know how to use or how to implement any applications in VS Code editor window, correct? So here also we are doing nothing new, same like previously. We got here by default folders. What are they? First one node modules, second one public, third one source folder, along with few default files which includes something like git ignore, package.json file. Okay, such files are by default, the last files, readme file, all that. Fine, now let us understand the complete application in a simple way, one after the other. First one, here I created some Firebase catchy data. Next, here you can find build. Okay, so static pages. Why I am using here static pages? Why? Because I am going to have different web pages. If I click on one button, it will show one web page. If I click on another button again, it has to change it, right? So for that purpose, here I gave HTML file. First file is HTML file. Next, assets manifest.json file. We know that HTML files illustrate how our web page should look like, which is same like base format like document type, HTML, header function, title of the page, style of the data, okay, style close, body of the statements, images, information. So header function, paragraph, and close the details. This is about HTML. Next, assets manifest.json file. Here, I'm accessing all the CSS file, main file, runtime file, all files I'm just accessing into my application. Wave icon represents my logo. Index.html. Already I have given HTML file. The same file here I gave. You can see document type, HTML, language, header function, scripts, and close the data. Okay. Next is logo, PNG files with different sizes, right? Next, manifest.json for index.html file, which represents for my application, for my input images, what is the source, size, and type. Okay, source, type, size. Source, type, size. Understanding, right? Next is start URL. If you wanted to give any URL from where you are accessing the data, that URL also you can give here. Okay. Next is display the information with some theme colors and background color. Okay. Next is robots.txt text file. This is about static. Yeah. Here you can find CSS for main file. Next as well JS file also. You can see here different information which includes book details. Okay. Book details are given here in this JS file. This is about static. Next is node modules. You already know node modules library file is used for accessing of or importing of various dependency library files or something like various packages which are used by default for any React application purpose. Okay, so node module library file is used for accessing or installing or package importing packages or dependency library files. I hope so till now it is clear. Let us move on to the next folder, that is public folder. Here you can see favicon, index.html file where you can find how my web page is going to look like. So document type, HTML, start tag the English language details, header function, links. Next comes title, header, next body of the statements, and close the tags. Next comes logo.png file in two different size formats. We are checking the same logo. Next is manifest.json. which includes for my application what should be the size of my png files and icon, favicon. Okay, so here you can see the source as favicon and logo 192 and 512 logo png logos. For that logos I gave here sizes and type of that image, whether it is png format, jpg format, jpeg format. That content I'm going to give here in this manifest.json file. Next is robots.txt file, which is normally a base text format file. This is about public folder. Now next comes source folder, which is one of the most important folder. For any React application, we are going to work with this source folder only. So in this source folder, I created here components folder. Okay, so let us see what type of information I have in this components folder. Authentication. Authentication means giving access, correct? So for authentication of various books to various persons, here is the code, which is very lengthy, I can understand. So import React use states from React. Next, avatar, button, CSS baseline, circular progress, text field, form controlled, control label, checkbox, link, grid, box, log outlined icon, typography, make styles, container, copyright, fire, alert, use history. So why I am importing these modules? For my web application, whenever I am going to view various books, I am going to have various buttons, various links of that buttons, URLs, text field, right? Text field to search my content, to search my book, particular book. So all that information, for that purpose, I am accessing all the various modules here, which includes React library file, avatar, next buttons, CSS baseline, circular progress, text field, form control label, checkbox, link, grid, box, log outlined icon, typography, make styles, container, copyright, fire, alert. Okay, use history. Okay, history of whatever the books I have bought or whatever the books I have already selected. That history also I can view. Okay, these are all the various modules that are imported into my authentication.js file. Here I am giving some function like authentication. Authentication means giving some security, giving some access like that. So here constant use styles. So it has to give me the various styles, whatever I am going to give in my files, the same styles I have to implement with for my text of data. So the paper format, margin top, display the information, flex direction, aligning the items at this center. Next for avatar, next for forms, next for submit button, next for logo. So for classes, email ID, password, set password, remember, error. For all this I'm giving the buttons. Okay, for getting the history of the data when it is loading the information. So that and all we are getting in the form of button only. Okay, next handle submit. Okay, now what we are doing here, the word itself is illustrating like authentication with the help of access with the help of sign-in details like email and password. Next, use that credentials and you can even check the history as well, set loading. Okay, next return the component details, baseline, typography, component ID details, header function, text field should contain variant, margin required, full width, ID, label, name, value, autocomplete. So these are all the various text field data information. Okay, IDs, passwords I gave here. Okay, now sign in details we gave here. The same thing, we are enclosing the information with the tags. Complete web page content I'm enclosing or opening the information with the help of tag and enclosing them within the tag itself. Okay, next export this by default authentication application name. This is about authentication.js file. Next, body.css represents for my body of the statements in my web application. So what type of customization I can do? Okay, here you can do with information, display, flex wrap, background image, box shadow. Next, body filter includes padding, display, justify the content. Body filter select width and height of the data. Next, normal body of the statements which includes display, flex wrap, justify the content. Okay, so this is what I gave some customizations for my body of the statements for in my web application. Body.js represents the scripting file which has to be displayed. Okay, so here I'm importing React and CSS customized file. Next is books, various books details for that book module. Next fire, next clip loader, snack bar, alert, body of the statements to be displayed, in which category of the books should be there, and books list should be there, and loading, open the books, read the message of that particular book and select that book. Click on hand click to open that particular, and if that event is clicked, then we will be selecting that. Okay, next customization includes display and margin details. Next comes use effect, something like to select the category of my collections, whether it is historical, whether it is something like any stories or anything as per our interest, we can consider it. Okay. Next, set the categories, load the data. Now, what we are doing here, body of the statements we gave, alert system. Next, ID, value, category I have given. Okay. Next, what we have given, category, it will check and it will add to the book list or selected data. Okay. So whether it is added or not also you can check by clicking on that add card symbol, right? So close the body of the statements application by default. Next comes body my account.css. It means to open my account in e-commerce website. So for that I'm giving here CSS file. So for my account details, display the data with certain margin and flex directions as well as box shadow. Next comes my account image height should be given here. Next, the button should contain background color, border radius, cursor, front font size and height of the data. Okay. Next, body my account.js file, import React and CSS file and alert, making the styles container, fire, my book. All these are the various modules, user context, firebase, bounce loader, and use error field. Okay. Next, display the body of the statements of my account details like display with certain margin and display. Next, use the context where loading information, name, description, price, category of the data, book, author, type, images of the particular book, everything we are in displaying here. Okay, store books and my store books. Next, give the styles for particular images of books, various books, and now that handle the image, set the image. You can see with the help of that instructions only we can easily understand how we are going to implement the application, right? So type of that, name, category, description, price and other details will be given for each and every book which is displayed on my web page. Okay, fine. Next, you can see here set loading. My book details should be loaded here with the help of URL as well. Store the books, add the books in the cart as well. Else, just remove if you don't want that book. Okay, else handle, please specify more data for the book. Name, image, price, description, type, or the category of the book has to be displayed. Now display the classes of with the required size or styles, customized styles. So if you didn't like, you can just click on that unsubscribe or not interested on that particular book. Okay, here comes my account details. Next with some width. Okay, next is outlined data. Next, you can find here the text file, outlined price details, okay, description, author, type information, next category, input file, everything I gave, bounce loader. Next, what I have given here, alert severity. It means I have to give alert like how many I have selected, what might be the total price, that and all alert systems. Okay. So header tags I gave here with my books information, length also I gave, and close all the tags. And at last by default, the statement has to be exported default with application name. Here the application name includes body, my account. Okay. Next comes book.css for CSS styling for my books. Okay, to display my images of my books with certain display cursor, flex direction, and justify the content, space between the content. Next, book container, image format, price details should be in certain color. Next, container author details, book button. It means to click whether we wanted to select it or not. For that also I gave here cursor height, border radius, font size. Next is hover details. Next color, text decoration. Yeah, display the content. Okay, this is about book.css file. The next comes book.js file where we import React and book.css link button books. Okay, now display the books now. So what are all the kinds of books are available? It will be displayed on my web page, right? So return the references, class name like book. So book container. Next it will check each and every book. Authors will be there, description will be there, prices will be there. So book button you have to just click on that. So the color indications, class details, everything is here. Click on that particular buttons to select that particular book. That is only the complete code represents. Next, book description .css. It means customization for descripted data for a particular book. Next, description. For description purpose, import React parameters description.css clip loader fire, and now start describing the book, particular book with ID, author. Next, book loading. Okay, collection of books has to be displayed. Set the books with the data. Okay, next what it is there. CSS customized data we gave here. Next, load the complete data, complete books data, and export by default the application. Next, books.js file. Here also ID, name, description, price. For how many books we are going to give, that many IDs we can give here in this books.js file. Cart.css, whatever I have selected, right, that has to be displayed now with certain specifications or customizations, which includes display, overflow style, scroller bar, width, overflow. Cart place order enabled, disabled. Okay. Next, cart.js. So in my cart, what are all the items stored or selected? That items will be there. So for that, import React and navigation bar, use history, cart items, fire, use context data, clip loader, alert title, divider, icon, button, keyboard arrow, left icon, keyboard arrow, right icon. Next, import the CSS file as well. Now that CSS file details I gave here. Next, I'm going to get the history, reference, height, cart, total, loading, error. Every detail I'm going to get. So for each and every book, whatever I have been added into my cart, it will be displayed. Okay. Next, cart items. So whatever the selected items are there, for that also I gave here customized details. So for selected data, exported. That's it. Checkout items like CSS file to check out the data, customizations file. Checkout.js file to check out means if I didn't like any of the data, I use here like if you didn't like any, like by using if else statements like that, I just export it by checkout. Next, checkout done. Okay, .css file. So next comes JS file. Here for checkout details, what kind of details we give for logout or checkout? The same details whatever we have entered like mail ID, password, the same details I'm going to give here. Copyright details of each and every book with the help of topography I'm going to give. mybook.css file. So whatever the selected books which are given for the order, for that also we will be displaying with certain customization. Mybook.js file represents what are all the files I have considered. See, file deleted successfully. If you didn't like any book, you can just delete it. Okay, by clicking on not interested or delete that like that. Now export it. Navigation, for navigation bar also we gave some customization, colors, background information, height, width, and something like context data, whether it should be at the side of the state web page or at the center of the statements like that. So for navigation also I have imported few library files and displayed the content. For each and every navigated tool I gave here the content. Okay. Next, profile. Our profile details has to be displayed with certain customizations like display, height, width like that, margins, details. Profile. Next is sign up. To sign up also we have certain file to create our information to register in the particular file. Next, authentication, all the states, hooks, information, right? So .js files and CSS files, everything I got here. Next, I have created here components like if I am implementing some web page, what are all the various components I have? Something like books information, something like cart information, something like login information, something like select the category of the book, something like logout information, right? So for that I created here components. Next, here comes hooks where app.js file is there. All the components has to be imported here. Next, initiate the file. Okay, so in my web application, whatever I wanted to display on my web page, in this app.js file only I am going to give, and at last I'll export it. CSS represents the customization. You already know. Firebase.js. So here, what are all the saved files are there or selected files are there, you can give here. Index.css represents the customization of my index page or web page. Index.js represents to initiate my application. Whatever I am going to give in my app.js file, it has to be displayed, right? So for that initiation of displaying the content, we use this index.js file. Next, report regarding the open entry or something like when you are taking, when you are giving back, like that. Such entries also you can give here. And rest and all are the by default files only, right? Now we'll do one something like go to terminal, new terminal, type here npm, 1 minute. Go to terminal, now type here npm space start. Click on enter. You are going to get your output. 1 minute, 1 minute. So the same thing only I'm implementing with the help of command prompt. Okay, you'll be getting the output. Just click on this. I hope so everyone understood the application. Yeah. Just give here the sign in details. Okay, just give some, if you don't have account, just create the account. Okay, you give some other details, you'll be receiving your output. So select this. So when you click on your account, it will open your account in this format. Enter the book to search any book, whatever you want. So you can see here various book items, whether we wanted to add into your cart or remove from your carts, you can see here. Okay. After that, go to the cart, check the details and check out. So total amount, card number, expiry date, give the payment details and order now. Click on order. Okay. This is how you are going to implement your application. I hope so it is clear. If you still have any queries also, you can just get back to us. Okay, in other social media like YouTube, podcast, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Okay, and also once again, I'm reminding you, my dear participants, if you are interested to do enroll for your internship or to convert this masterclass into your internship format, here are few benefits which includes recording videos, presentations, and applications. Okay, and also Pantech is conducting few upcoming associative events which includes PCB designs, artificial intelligence. Upcoming masterclass includes electric vehicle and Python programming. If you're interested, just enroll for that. If you still have any queries, you can just get back to us in other social media like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, podcast, YouTube. And last but not least, before winding up the session, I would like to thank all the participants for making utilize of your time. And also, if you really like the session, please do click on like, comment, share, and also subscribe to Pantech e-learning channel if you are the first time visitors. Okay. And last but not least, thank you all. Have a very